Welcome to the Muddy Waters of Freedom with your hosts, Matt Wright and Mohammed Shaker.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Vanguard for Mohammed Shashabim Shaker. I am Matt Wright, and together we are traversing the muddied waters of freedom. We are also welcoming back on the show everybody's favorite member of the team, the wondrous and wonderful Taylor Marie Anderson. Taylor, thank you for coming back on today.
Thank you for having me.
Always welcome. You know that. You are everybody's favorite member of the team, including mine, which is very strange because I love myself more than anything.
Leave that there.
Right, because I love myself more than anything. I was afraid he drew a dick on that for a minute.
No.
Let us thank Low Tide Kava Bar for the kava we are going to be drinking on this show, and Kratom. I've got a great story about kava and Kratom coming up.
Bullet.
I cannot wait to get you out here so you can try this stuff.
Yeah, it would make this a lot less awkward.
So normally we start out by talking about our weeks and the crap that we watch on TV, but we're not going to do that today. Oh, also, for those of you who are watching us live, the band at the beginning was Ben Danaher, and that song was Hell or High Water. The single came out yesterday. Go find it on Spotify, YouTube, download it.
No, there is a movie I want to watch that I just found out about. It's called the some.
And there it is. There goes our G rating right off the bat.
The King. What is it? Kingsman?
Kingsman?
The Golden
Arches or
Circle?
the Gold Circle? Yeah.
I just found out about that today.
Did you not? Did you see the first one?
No, I've never seen anything about that ever.
Well, watch the first one.
Okay.
And then you can watch the ones after that.
It seems like it's a really funny movie.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Because I was listening to some John Denver, and I guess there's this part from the new movie, where something happens to this guy, but while this permanent thing happens, he starts singing Country Roads before he does this like badass CIA thing. It was just really funny. I was like, okay, now I want to watch this movie. It's a British actor too, and who else? Julianne Moore's in it. I was like, Julianne Moore, what the fuck?
Yeah, she's in the sequel.
Yeah. So that was the big thing for me too, because I love Julianne Moore.
I'm gonna drop this piece of knowledge on you. The first one's so much better.
What is it? A remake?
No, there's the first one and then there's a sequel.
Oh, okay. How far apart are they?
2 years.
Oh, well, I want to watch those now.
They're good. They're
Yeah.
good. They're fun.
All right, show's over. We'll be back next week.
And thank you, Taylor, for joining us.
Great.
But it's nothing that I watched this week was worthy of really talking about.
Bullshit. You watch your favorite show again.
What's my favorite show?
Psych.
Psych? Oh, yeah, I did finish Psych again.
Yeah.
But I went through it for like the 5th time.
Because even Sean was like, again?
Yeah.
He was like, where is Matt? I was like, watching Psych.
Yeah. I watch that show like once or twice a year. Love that show.
But
yeah, so I mean, yeah, I did watch Psych. And if you want me to act it out for you, I can. But
Know all the words.
I do. I pretty much know that entire series. I know that and Scrubs by heart. But yeah, really all that matters in this last week was what we did yesterday, which made Taylor very jealous. You can see that by her very sad face that she has on. Who did we meet yesterday?
Who?
Who did you and I meet yesterday?
I don't remember.
You don't know who we met yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who we saw yesterday?
Nope.
You're an idiot.
There were these cool people from Kentucky, so I remember.
Yeah, what was his name?
Don't remember. I remember Kelly Paul because she's the nicest lady I
Yeah.
ever met.
I really need you to say the name.
Okay, Rand Paul. I'm just trying to bring the
Did
show
someone
down.
say Rand Paul?
Oh no! You ruined the show, man.
I did.
Is that from?
Yeah.
God, how did I forget his name?
Vieser?
Yeah,
Nicholas Vieser. Thank you, Nicholas Vieser, for allowing me to do that joke. And you should check him out, Liberty Link Media. I had to say that so I could do that.
Do you watch him, Taylor?
I'm gonna go with yes.
It's like on Being Libertarian. He does like a lot of those.
Oh.
The Daily Headlines guy?
Oh yeah. I just didn't know his
This
name.
is Nicholas Vieser, and
Yeah.
here is your daily headline. Yeah, he told me I could use that bit. Just
Yeah, he did a show like, and he was talking about Rand Paul, and this guy just kept saying, "Rand Paul."
that was so good. But yeah, so yesterday we got a chance to meet with Kelly and Rand Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to Ivy for setting that up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was awesome. That was amazing. I was closer to Rand Paul than I was to Muhammad at this very moment.
Yeah, that's your birthday gift.
Yeah. Which you didn't remember.
I remember.
See, Taylor knew
That's-
about my
I remember. That's why I brought you out. I had this planned all along. And that's why I stopped him and got him out of the car. You have to remember to do that next time.
Yeah.
Like, fuck Rand Paul. You know, hey, guy, wait, I need a picture. Or else he's going to run away.
Yeah, he
I felt bad because Matt didn't get a picture with him. And, like, you need to, like, physically stop him, which is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
He, like, got in the car, and I was like, oh, no, nope, here's my chance. So I walked right up, and I was like, hey, Rand, can I get a picture? And he, like, got out of the car.
Yeah.
I stopped the senator
Poor Rand.
from leaving so I can get a picture.
Yeah. But yeah, so
He's so like introverted. I love it.
I know, yeah.
oh my god, yeah.
But he's so much better in a small setting.
Yeah. And I think Kelly also helps
Yeah.
kind of like bring him out.
Oh, yeah, when she's around? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rand Paul is really at his best when it's like a small setting of people or he's on the floor of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he's like at his peak. But yeah,
Peak Randing.
peak
Yeah.
Randing.
Yeah, peak Randing.
Peak Randing. But yeah, he we went down, we picked him up, and then, well, I dropped you off at the hotel or at the restaurant, and I went to go pick him up. And we were driving from the hotel to the restaurant, and he's like talking about like his day and like planning stuff out, and he just went, "So, are you from here, Matt?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm from St. Petersburg." He went, "Oh, thanks for driving down," and that was it. He mentioned me a couple of times after that, but never anything directly to me. And I was just like, well, that's good enough.
Yeah.
All right. And then I had to give him a ride back from the restaurant to the hotel. And on the way, he was just like, so what do you do? And that is a really hard question to answer because right now, technically, I'm unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I don't know how to answer this question. And then so I was like, oh, I work in Kava and Kratom. And he didn't know what Kava or Kratom was. And I was like, oh, golden. I can fill the next 10 minutes, no problem. So I just started giving the Kava and Kratom spiel. And I was like, yeah, so kava comes from the root of the intoxicating pepper plant, which can be found in like islands like Vanuatu and Fiji. They also grow it in Hawaii. He's like, interesting. He's like, does it taste good? No. No, not even a little bit. And he's like, really? Why do people drink it? Oh, it helps promote relaxation, helps with anxiety, stuff like that. And he's like, interesting. If it doesn't taste good, you should probably mix it with alcohol. No, that's really bad. Don't do that. Do not do that. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he was like,
I like how that was his solution. Like somehow alcohol is going to make it taste better.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe Rand has a problem. Maybe that was his cry for help, you guys.
He was on the Daily Show with Trevor
Oh,
Noah.
yeah.
Remember they drank whiskey the whole show or some shit? Yeah.
Yeah, Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and then after that, so I dropped him back off at the hotel, And he was like, Matt, would you mind giving Kelly a ride to wherever she needs to go? And I was like, nope. Not even a little bit. So she jumped up into the front seat with me, and she and I talked, and she had lots of questions about kava and kratom, and I was just telling her all about it. And she was like, I'm going to be Googling this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to answer. And she was like, okay, yeah. And I was like, great.
Wait, didn't one of them make a big pharma thing?
Oh, yeah. So Rand was like, so is this stuff regulated? And I said, no. And he goes, oh, are they working on regulating it? And, well, the FDA is thinking about it. I've got my own theories on why. And he goes, could it potentially hurt big pharma? And I said, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I was like, yes, greatest politician ever.
But, that's so wonderful.
It was so great.
The doctor that talks about big pharma.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like now he's gonna be like conscious about it. You know what I mean? If he hears about it, maybe.
I know.
Maybe we'll get a nice little Rand vendetta going.
I am hoping that I one day get a message from somebody in the Rand camp. It's like, hey, you were talking to Rand about kava and kratom. Mm-hmm. Can you fill him in on some stuff? I'm like, yes. Yes, I can. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So yesterday was amazing.
It was really good.
Yeah, and then we went to that kava bar. Mm-hmm. And that was fun, too.
Oh, yeah.
That was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, and then Muhammad fell asleep on the ride home. I didn't tell you this. So Muhammad fell asleep on the ride home for the entire ride. For all of it. Like, I'm tired, and, you know, would have been great to have somebody to converse with a little bit.
I felt bad.
Yeah.
He fell dead asleep. I was blasting music trying to wake him up. Nothing. I'm like risking both of our lives by sending Snapchats of him sleeping and like saying, don't text and drive or Snapchat and don't do that. But I was doing that. And, I was like, this motherfucker right here. And then, so as my revenge on him, I turned his seat warmer all the way up. And
those things get hot. Like
they get real warm.
Yeah.
And so I turned his all the way up, and he didn't wake up for that. He would just shift his body.
I didn't remember this until he showed me the snap. I was like, what? I didn't feel that. I didn't sleep the night before, except for like an hour. So, whatever.
I was so annoyed at you. I was like, man, why? Why are you sleeping now?
Mm-hmm.
But
what's on today's menu?
Some sort of dessert is going to be made later.
Okay.
Sorry, private joke. Taylor's making a dessert for a potluck she is going to tomorrow. Because I believe, if I remember correctly, your boyfriend's brother is getting engaged?
He is engaged.
And
we're kind of like doing, like a family event.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations to them on the soon-to-be nuptials.
Engagement.
That.
Yeah.
So, obviously, some big news happened this week. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to start with my favorite one because I find this just so funny to talk about.
Yeah.
Even though shootings are never funny.
No, they're not.
This one kind of is. There was a shooting at the YouTube headquarters in California. And we had so many theories being thrown out immediately upon the shooting being announced. And many of them all said the exact same thing. If this is not an alt-right, white, male, Trump-supporting, nationalist, racist, whatever, I will eat my hat, as one guy said on Twitter, and now he has a private account. But it turned out that it was not any of those things that people were predicting. It was the pretty much exact opposite of what that was.
Yeah.
We had, I'm going to mess up this name, Nassim Agdam.
Sure. It's Persian. It's Persian, so I don't know.
Nassim Aghdam, who is an
Just make it sound as terrorist as possible. And that's her.
Nassim Aghdam.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, so Nassim Aghdam, she was a YouTuber that was famous for making very strange Taylor Swift ripoffs and talking about.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I found one of those videos. It was hilarious. And talking about veganism and how she had a sticker on her car that said, "Meat is murder."
Yes, she did, yeah.
But apparently she did not know that murder is
murder?
also murder. Which, by the way, is the name of a Psych episode. Meat is murder.
Oh, really?
Murder is also murder.
Similar story, I guess?
No.
Oh.
No.
No, I'm used to seeing, like, in the shows I watch, like, I did not know, like, I used to think eco-terrorists were just a thing you see on television shows, you know, where, like, tree hippies will, like, bomb somebody because they're mad at the government or at corporations, you know, or, you know, vegans murdering people because meat is murder.
Right.
It turns out that this lady, you know, well, she didn't really kill anybody, but for veganism, she killed them because what YouTube did to her, apparently.
Yeah, she got mad because YouTube...
But she had 9 million subscribers.
She did.
And I can understand that she got mad, but it's not a good justification
right.
for it, you know, because she has like 9 million subscribers, which is really a lot of people. Because like the highest subscriber person on YouTube is what's his nuts? God, how did I forget his name?
Good old what's his nuts.
He's a German dude, and he's got in trouble before. He's got like 55 million. PewDiePie, yeah. PewDiePie. Yeah, he's got 55 million subs, and he's ahead of a lot of people when it, you know. So 9's a lot, but I guess it's cut into her money. Like that's how she was making her living.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently they were like started demonetizing her videos because they had like animal violence in them. Like,
oh, is that why they were doing it?
Yeah, that's what I read. It was like some of like the videos she like had like videos of like animals being slaughtered and stuff like that. So it wasn't like she was hurting animals, but you know, she was like, this is what, you know.
Yeah.
This is what happens, basically, and then, like, they started demonetizing her stuff. But also, I think some of her videos were, like, weirdly sexualized. Uh-huh. So that could also be it. But I was kind of, like, looking into it, and, like, one of her videos that had, like, 300,000 views on it, she only got 10 cents for.
Yeah, I remember reading that. And, you know, when you...
I would be pretty pissed.
Yeah, when you become a YouTuber and you're already making money off of it, and that's what you dedicate your time to, I can see how that could make you mad.
Yes.
Still, again, no one's saying it's a justification.
Right. No.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is also.
But it is like essentially like you would lose your job. You know what I mean? Like just like all of a sudden wake up one morning and you're fired, basically.
Yeah.
And they're doing it to millions of people.
Yeah. Yes. Some people even said they're surprised that it hasn't happened any sooner.
I was one of those people that said, I'm surprised this is the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I wasn't surprised. Like, yes, I was a little surprised it was a vegan. Mm-hmm. That just makes it. That's where I find the humor in that one. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, oh, really? Meat is murder, but you just pulled out a revolver, handgun. I don't know what kind of gun it was. You just pulled out a handgun of some sort in California and shot up YouTube. Mm-hmm. And apparently you don't know that murder is also murder.
Yeah, and some people are, like, I was like, no one's talking about it. And they're like, oh, no, everyone's talking about it. I don't see anybody talking about it.
No.
And then, you know, the whole, well, nobody died. Why is...
Well,
which, again, which goes to show you that nobody cares about the actual violence happening. Like, okay, so nobody died, and that's why we shouldn't talk about it? We shouldn't talk about why she did this?
Right. We shouldn't talk about the reasons?
Yeah.
Because maybe that will kind of...
Yeah, just because she was unsuccessful, it, like, somehow doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Right. Where... it's better that she was unsuccessful, and the only death was her own. But still sad situation whenever anybody does blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's it's better that nobody passed away, and but at the same time, we need to talk about these as well because it goes to show that it's not the gun. It's about the mindset. It's about the people.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You know, it's not something as simple as, oh well, it's the guns problem. It's the guns' fault. It's the society of guns we have.
Yeah, like Massachusetts did that ban on assault weapons, and it was a district court,
federal. He was a federal judge.
Yeah, federal judge said it was okay. Yeah, because they're not protected under the Second Amendment,
is what he said.
Which is stupid because Second Amendment doesn't say anything about pistol grips.
Right. Yeah, the Second Amendment. I mean, we've covered this in pretty much every show for the last week. But the Second Amendment does not. It protects all forms of arms. It does. All forms of armament. And, you know. And
if we didn't say it last show, you might as well say it again, even if we did the James Madison thing that you told me about.
Oh, I was going to let you hold on to that one for next week.
Why?
For when you debate. But
I don't care. We can bring it up again.
James Madison.
He's not going to have an answer to it. So.
I know. James Madison wrote a letter. If also for anybody who wondered what we were just talking about, we have a friend of ours coming on who is not as pro Second Amendment as us,
but does own a gun or two. I think
he does. He does own weapons, but he believes that we need to really rein in the ability for people to receive weapons, and he's coming on to debate Mo on the Second Amendment. So it's going to be a very fun and entertaining episode.
Yep, and I'll lose, so come and watch.
I swear to God, if you lose that debate. If you lose that debate, Jeremy's the new host. That's how it works. It's like Black Panther.
Yeah.
He's going to win in ritual debate.
Yeah.
And he's going to take over. So James Madison...
somebody wrote him.
Somebody wrote him and asked him.
Private Chip or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, can I tell my story? Jesus. So somebody wrote him and they said, "Hey, are we allowed to have cannons on our private ship?" And he wrote back and he said, basically, yeah, absolutely. You need to be able to protect your ship and your belongings with whatever it is. And at the time, it is arguable that cannons were the weapon of mass destruction. And he was saying that, yes, you can have these. You can legally own these to defend your property.
Cargo, or something.
Your property. I didn't know we were going to be talking about that. Otherwise, I would have had the name of the letter pulled up. But you can look that up. It's but I mean, if anything else, the guy who was one of the people who wrote the Second Amendment is saying, yes, you can have the most powerful weapon available to protect yourself.
Yeah.
I think that goes to show that, yes, we can have whatever weapon we want when it comes to protecting ourselves.
Yep. And even one of my lefty friends who likes history as much as I do even commented saying that during the time of the Second Amendment's writing, very early Gatling cannons were even already produced and used on battlefields. They're like hand cranked on wheels.
Yep.
Those type of cannons that were the predecessor to like suppressive machine guns were right there, so they knew what they were talking about by not making an exception in the Second Amendment.
Right, and they also had semi-automatic muskets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They had one-pull, one-shot muskets.
Yeah. So, yeah, all of that together, yeah. But, more on that when the actual debate, I guess.
Yes. I was going to say, you don't want to spend it all right now. Yeah.
What does the media keep it? Why is it? So does this show us that the media has some kind of bias, I guess?
I mean...
some kind of bias?
Some kind of bias? I mean, there's so many different kinds of bias in the media.
Yeah. I mean, towards, the, Second Amendment.
I mean, one of the things that... I'm going to bring it up anyway.
I mean, shit, they'll even show it when a cop... Which is... if a law enforcement officer that is one of the few bad law enforcement officers tries to shoot a black guy or whatever, and the black guy doesn't die. They'll still show you that. I mean, the black guy didn't die. So there's obviously some kind of, bias there. God, sorry, I lost my train of thought because there's something else I want to say about. Yeah, so the people that are shooting us are the only ones that should have cops. You know, this is like what all the leftists are crying about.
Right.
Only the government should have the guns, and they're the ones killing us or killing black people and causing you to take a knee during football games.
Right. But yeah, like when it comes to the media bias, it's like one of the things that we were going to talk about, which now we're going to talk about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There was that video that came out. This is a danger to our democracy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a threat to our democracy, where they were blasting Sinclair Media Group for their huge widespread promotion that they did, talking about fake news and how they're not going to do that. And
I don't get it. People have local news stations. Why is that a problem? That was my first thing. I was like, why is it a problem that they asked the people that work for them to say a message off of a teleprompter?
Right. And you're right. It's not bad because everybody does it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were planning on doing a really great spoof of that.
And I didn't even know who Sinclair was until that video. I mean, so you can argue, I guess, that the infamous people are the ones with the actual power. You know, there's some quotes about that. Real power doesn't come from, being out there. It's always the guys in the back doing this stuff. But still, like...
And you had, on that video, you had Joe Scarborough.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I said Joe Scarborough. He was sitting there saying, this is awful. This is a threat to our, this is the real threat to our democracy. Coming from CNN, who scripts their town halls, who gives the people the questions they are supposed to ask in order to try to trap people and ends the gun debate where Dana Loesch showed up and ends it.
Lash.
Sorry. Dana Lash showed up and, they end it with her being booed from Anderson Cooper. Just let it end right there. And it's like, you are scripting this entire thing to shape a narrative, and then you're getting mad about this other group that's doing the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just hypocritical as all shit.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So, I guess it's kind of like a question of it's like hypocritical, but it's still wrong.
Right.
All the way around. I don't know, it's fine for them to have local news stations and have similar messaging and such, but it does get a little bit creepy when it's the same exact message and the news reporters have zero discretion on how they want to communicate. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of their job.
And, it was kind of talking about how some of them didn't feel comfortable with what they were being asked to say, but...
Well, they can leave.
Right, you can
That's my
quit.
opinion.
Yeah, they can leave.
You can quit.
I don't like... I mean, I get how it's messed up, but they can leave, and... It's not even that they're saying the same message to me. It's what's behind the message? Because, CNN and MSNBC and all the other left-leaning news will all brainwash you the same way without using the same words, if that's the case. There's a lot of ways you can be against guns without saying you're against guns. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
At least we know with Sinclair stuff that it's obvious, and that's what he's trying to do, I guess.
Right. I mean, the media helps shape any message that there is that's out there. So, one of the biggest arguments that you get from the pro-gun control crowd is that we need common sense gun laws.
Mm-hmm.
And they phrased it in that particular way because if you say, oh, well, no, I'm against these, you're saying
you're against common sense.
You have no common sense, or you are against common sense. So they've done a great job shifting the conversation to say, well, we just want common sense gun laws. Well, what I think is common sense and what you think are common sense are two completely different spectrums of this argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just empty logic.
Right.
It's what?
Empty logic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, man.
I don't know.
All right.
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul.
I would just keep hitting the Rand Paul button in those moments, but I'm afraid that the music's going to start again. Also this week, Donald Trump.
Yep.
Good old Donald. He in his answer to them not building the wall, said he's going to be putting troops on the border.
Yeah.
What are the thoughts?
Well, people are against it, but I don't care.
Yeah, I would say that's like probably one of the more legitimate uses of the military.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the way I see it too.
Well, and some people, that they're incorrect. They're talking about I forget the name of it. It's about not using the military within the country against its own people. But I think it's a very legitimate way to use the military is to put them on a border,
right,
away from everybody on a border with this sole job of the border.
I mean, my thought, what I've said for years now, is I think that we need to bring back all the troops from overseas. Shut down the bases. Screw it. I don't care. I know that that's going to upset some people. But shut down the bases, Germany, Japan, all of them. Get rid of all of them. Bring all those people back home. And then we can just put bases up along the border, and they can then protect the border.
Yeah.
And then the troops are home.
Yep.
The troops are home. We have a strong defense against people trying to come in illegally, where we can actually vet these people and have strong immigration policy just based within us, and it will save us money because we can then get rid of border control. We can get rid of
military gets paid anyway, regardless of what they're doing,
no matter what. So I actually like this idea. I don't think it's far enough, but I like the idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he said to pull out of Syria, so he should just pull out of Iraq and Afghanistan too.
Yes.
Bring those guys back and put them on the border,
please.
After they get their 2 weeks or a month of leave. So, what else? Trump also talked about the tariffs.
The tariffs. But we're not in a trade war.
Oh, no. It was, we're not in a trade war because we already lost the trade war.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's always good when you admit defeat at the beginning.
Yeah, what was it? It says we're not in a trade war with China. That war was lost many years ago by the foolish or incompetent people who represented the U.S. Now we have a trade deficit of $500 billion a year with intellectual property theft of another $300 billion. We cannot let this continue. Thank you, Donald Trump.
Yeah, and there's a great article I can share later from the Mises Institute that talks about why trade deficits are a stupid way to measure the health of an economy.
Yes.
And how it doesn't mean anything whether somebody has a trade deficit or not.
Right.
And we did talk about that one time because I was talking about how we only make Boeing and we're almost the sole provider across the world when it comes to Russian aircraft. I'm talking civilian and cargo. Russian, French, British. I don't know who else makes airplanes on a large scale, but Boeing's everywhere, and it's not a problem with any other country in the world that they're not making their own airplanes and they're buying airplanes from us. Right. It's never been a problem. So trade deficits as an idea is stupid.
And not only that, but as I learned from the massively talented Ben Shapiro, 70% of steel still comes from the U.S. Even before this, 70% of steel still comes from the U.S. And that means that we're only getting 30% of the steel from outside of the U.S. So the super majority of the steel that we have in the U.S. comes from here.
Yeah, I think a lot of the steel actually comes from Alabama because I think Alabama can make
Pittsburgh, Alabama.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Pittsburgh. Yeah, but I think Alabama is actually also the only state that is able to make steel entirely within its own borders. But yeah, we can and do make our own steel. So yeah, we went from him putting the tariffs on stuff to then China putting tariffs on stuff to 2 days ago. Him responding that he will do even more tariffs, which is obviously going to be even more tariffs from them if that ever happens. So prices will just keep on rising.
And I was reading that they were discussing the nuclear option of selling off all the bonds that they bought back in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to sell those off to, and just completely delegitimize our bond market.
Yeah.
Because once they dump them, they're going to lose all.
Oh, yeah. That's international credit.
Right.
Is a thing, that a lot of people really don't think about. I'd say a lot of people on both sides of the fence. If countries stop losing trust in your money and your money, then your dollar is going to lose value very quickly.
Very quickly.
But yeah, it's really shitty that he's, I don't know, going that far. He's been doing not so well in recent weeks.
Months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After I said I would vote for him.
Right. Yeah. You said you would consider voting for him in 2020, and he just took a nosedive.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Crap, I got the Muslims on my side."
I'm doing something wrong here. Oh, God. One of the things that I didn't even really think about is the fact that Donald Trump is like going after Amazon at this point.
Oh yeah,
saying how they're not paying enough taxes.
Communist, Commie. Commie Donnie.
Yeah, and obviously just jealous.
Mm-hmm. And I don't. Somebody, I think it was Reason Magazine, Reason TV did a video on it, or maybe it was Stossel. I think it was Stossel, because one of the things was Trump said that the government subsidizes Amazon through Amazon's usage of the Postal Service, saying that they are paying they're not paying enough for all the products they sell through the Postal Service. And they had done a study on it, and this is something that actually Amazon actually helps the Postal Office because it's such a big money provider to them.
Right.
Yeah.
That wouldn't exist otherwise when they could use solely a market-based service like UPS or FedEx or something. So even then, if Amazon was not using the Postal Service, you'd have a lot less postal offices around the country because they don't make any money from they don't make any money from taxes.
In all fairness, you would still have the same amount of postal offices around the country.
Really?
Yeah, because they get bailed out every year. They are at $1 billion plus loss every single year. Well, they aren't closing post offices.
Yeah, I understand that, but they actually don't get funded. That's the thing. They don't get funded from taxes. They actually get funded only from the stamps and services that they do.
But they still get bailed out.
No, I get that. So
they are getting funding from.
Well, by funding, I mean it's not in a funding bill to fund them. It's a bailout,
right? Which
I know is the same, but it's different. Just making a point. I'm just making a point about how Amazon
it's supposed to be run versus how it's not.
Yeah, well, also making a point how Amazon actually is helping them by using them.
And that's true. And Trump was saying that Amazon isn't paying them enough, and they're delivering these things at a loss. But there was a law passed in 2006 that no company could use it could use the post office with the post office taking a loss. Mm-hmm. So they aren't.
Yeah.
But I don't get it. It's a flat price for everybody.
Right.
So there's no way for anybody to screw the postal services out of money.
Right. I don't.
I think if you have like corporate accounts, it's a lot different with the post office than if you're just sending out individual packages. Generally, there's like contracts and stuff.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, there's like bulk mailings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That you can do. But no matter what.
Yeah, I highly doubt they would be operating at a loss specifically just for Amazon. That doesn't.
No.
That doesn't sound right to me.
No.
No, and then he said what? They're not paying enough in taxes either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and in other news, Walmart CEO also says that was it the former CEO or the current CEO? Now I gotta look. One of the two said that Amazon needs to be broken up by the U.S. government.
Oh yeah, really? I've heard similar stuff to that.
Right, but so to be the number one brick and mortar retail store, to be saying that about the number one.
Oh, it's former.
Yeah. To be the former CEO of the number one brick and mortar retail store in the nation, to be saying that about the number one online mega giant that's just, if that's not showing some sort of biasness.
Yeah, corporatism.
Yeah, and my thing is, like, aside from government-aided monopolies, like the regulations and laws that help monopolies become a thing, you know, like one of the questions some people always ask me about, like, antitrust laws is they bring up U.S. Standard Oil with the Rockefellers and why that was not an okay thing. And no one that's ever brought that up to me has ever given me an actual reason on why that was a bad thing. And even looking at the national discussion around it during the time of U.S. Standard Oil, it was just that people were afraid because of how much he controlled. But then if you actually look at how Rockefeller got so big, U.S. Standard Oil became big because he made oil products. So he didn't deal in oil, he dealt in oil products. He made it cheap. And sometimes to outbid his competitors and destroy them, he either made things so cheap that it drove him out of business so he can buy them up, or he gave shit away for free.
Right.
So people keep, you keep looking at how it's one big monopoly, but how many people benefited from that monopoly? There's no way to tell me that Rockefeller was a bad guy. And I think he was a big philanthropist, too, where he gave away a lot of his money. And then the other thing that has to do with that is if the market chooses to go to a specific business or a person so much that it becomes a monopoly, then that really is the market speaking. Even though it's really hard for natural monopolies to happen and probably never would happen. Natural monopolies meaning like no regulations on trusts or no antitrust laws. You can get as big as you're able to and buy up everybody if you want to. It's really hard to have a monopoly actually happen. So there's always going to be somebody trying to outbid these big people. One of the things I remember reading about was actually on Amazon, how they do their 2-day delivery systems and how big their air fleet is for cargo airplanes and all that, and the hubs they have. They have like small Cessnas and stuff that fly packages out to like these really small towns that are way far away from urban areas to make sure that everybody gets their package on time within 2 days. And I didn't even know that was an option out in like the very rural areas. So if Amazon is doing such a good job that everyone's going to go to them, why does it matter?
Right.
Or FedEx or UPS, so on and so forth. But yeah, I think people are just mad because Amazon is, because Bezos, I guess, is a huge liberal, and a lot of people don't trust Bezos. If that's how you say his name, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of like people on the right don't trust him, and they think it's even people I know that are like pro-capitalism are okay with hurting Amazon through the government because they don't trust Bezos, but that's a slippery
not how it works.
Yeah, no, it's a slippery slope. How are you going to be free market and then be okay with extra taxes because you hate Jeff Bezos?
Right.
Yeah.
Because then that gives
targeted individuals.
Yeah, and
that'll work out well.
And these are the same people that were complaining rightfully about the IRS scandal that was targeting
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, conservative like nonprofits and shit. And I don't know if like Yale was, but the Leadership Institute was like the big thing.
Yale was too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they're part of the vast right-wing conspiracy or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember they were telling us at the Leadership Institute that I think it was Michael Moore or something. No, it was an elected Democrat. I don't remember who. Maybe it was Nancy Pelosi that was saying how like the Leadership Institute was in the middle of all of this, and they deserve to be looked at by the IRS. And it's just it's stupid. You're either allowed to do it or you're not. Regardless of what the political party is.
Yes. I agree. Also, I don't know the quote off the top of my head. So Jay-Z. What did he say?
He says we need to talk about white privilege is really the best way to say that very succinctly. He says we need to talk about the problem of white privilege in this country, which I didn't know he was not. I didn't know that he did you say he was the richest or is the richest?
No,
probably.
No. Oprah by far.
Oprah, that's right.
Oprah by far is the richest African American or black person in the world. Yeah.
And I thought Dre would be richer than him, but I guess he's richer than Dre apparently.
I would imagine Jay-Z is probably richer than Dre by now.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that. I'm not going to...
Yeah, which I thought was stupid because I'm like, you know how many white people I know that...
Ooh, it's close, guys.
What?
Jay-Z's $810 million and Dr. Dre's $830 million.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Dre...
I guess I think I may have remembered...
closing in.
Yeah. Well, I remembered reading how Dre was probably the richest black man, especially because of the beats and all that. But you know how many...
The Beats by Dre?
Yeah. You know, all his products, and I don't know much about Dr. Dre. Apparently he's a really nice guy. I don't know if that's right or not.
I wouldn't go out on that limb. But
okay, well...
I don't know enough about him to say. But I know that there was some controversies about that movie that came out, Straight Outta Compton.
There were controversies?
Yeah.
For what, like racial controversies?
About not showing some of the stuff that they did. Like, apparently...
Because I don't know what the movie's about.
Okay, well, it's about NWA, which is N-Words with Attitude. And, because I can't say...
What, is this a cultural thing, NWA?
It's a rap group.
It's a rap group. Oh, that's...
Yeah, it was Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, and I think one more.
Okay, I know those names.
Yeah, but yeah, they were all originally in a group called NWA back in like the late '80s, early '90s, and then they all split off and went their own ways.
What, did they do bad things when they were young and the movie didn't show it? Is that what you're saying? Well, what person is going to show the bad things they did when they were younger?
Well, the whole thing was supposed to be like all the stuff that they did.
Okay,
and they showed some of the bad stuff, but not all the bad stuff. Like,
so it was a movie about their struggles, right?
Yeah,
growing up and all that.
It was like when they were getting started.
Okay.
I haven't actually seen the movie. I just remember reading about it.
Okay.
So I can't really speak too much to it.
Yeah. No. Understandable.
Yeah.
But I've never. Have you ever been accused of, or have you ever been told you have white privilege? Obviously, I don't.
Yes.
Okay. Has it ever happened? Honest question. Has it ever happened like at a kava bar or something?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Because okay.
That's not going to come up anywhere.
What about you, Taylor?
Oh, yeah. I went to college.
Yeah. No, see, this one time I was hanging out at one of the kava bars down here called Grassroots, and this girl was sitting beside me. She started talking. We started talking about stuff. Cause a lot of people, they will always, especially like the owners know me, and some of the people that go there will always like talk about politics, obviously, with me. And, so she started kind of talking about politics with me, and one of the things she said was, well, I have white privilege. And I was just like, who the fuck is this bitch? I was like, I don't even know you. And is your life that awesome or something? Like, that's my biggest thing with people that claim white privilege, especially people that claim having white privilege. I'm like, your life isn't that awesome, and I don't care about your life.
Right.
If you think you have white privilege enough that you have to announce it to everybody. But obviously my biggest problem is when like somebody like Jay-Z claims that white people in general have privilege, because there's no way to quantify that, especially with him being one of the richest people around, while there are so many poor white people out there that don't have anything. And that's one of the things that the Democrats and the left did that got Trump to win. And I thought they'd learn to stop doing that, but they're not.
No.
Like that's how.
No, I don't think that they really ever will.
Yeah, like Obama talked so much about hope and change and and helping people and making the country awesome again, and fixing it and getting all the racial stuff out of the way. And specifically, though, like he put some faith in people, especially like the poor white people in the Rust Belt and all those, quote unquote flyover states. And
which are some of the most beautiful states if you haven't been to them.
Yeah.
You should really drive through them.
Yeah.
Just fly over them. Drive through those bad boys. They're gorgeous.
Yeah. Nice people, And I think so. In the Midwest is full of really nice people. And even the South. Some of the southern states are considered flyover states, like Tennessee and all that.
Tennessee's considered flyover.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, all those.
Yeah, but some of those people have nothing. And they get told by rich, young, rich college students that are liberal that they have white privilege. And these people are like poor, working hard. They're just trying to make sure that their kids are able to go to college as well. Right. And they get told by some Bernie Sanders supporter that he has white privilege. And that's the reason that one of the big reasons, in my opinion, that Trump won is the left won the culture war. And anybody that says anything that is right-leaning is a cisgender, Christian, racist, homophobic, sexist, and Islamophobe. So you can't even have the conversation. So everybody voted for Trump that was saying exactly what they wanted to hear. Right. That's what they mean by that. Right. No, 100%. And I get it. And I get it. I didn't in the beginning. I get it now. Especially because, I started, I guess, getting, exposed to some of it. As in, like, hearing some of this stuff, like, firsthand. I was just like, excuse me?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've definitely been told to check my privilege. And I laughed because I was like, what? Like, trust me, I've been arrested a lot. Pretty much any opportunity for me to be arrested, I was arrested. Yeah. I never was like, once. There was one time, and when I talked to a different cop about it, they said, that guy just wanted to go home.
Yeah, I remember that
story. He did not want to fill out that paperwork. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, that's good. But yeah, like every other time that I should have been arrested, I was definitely arrested. It got to be a bit of a problem there for a short period of time. Like if I saw a cop, I was like, well, this is happening again.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the real privilege happens from having money and being rich.
Yeah, it's true. I definitely think there's far more class privilege than racial privilege in this country.
Let's use another word. I didn't know you had these communist leanings.
Oh. Well, I mean, really, it is, middle class, upper class,
Yeah.
There's definitely privileges that come with that, and I'm not saying that they're wrong, but
exactly.
They do exist.
Yeah.
You should strive for those privileges.
I agree. Right. Yeah. When you look at rich people being arrested and their sentencing, if they ever go to court or whatever, across the board, race doesn't matter. If you have money, you're going to get a much lighter sentence. Yeah. So there's also pretty privilege, like when they talk about like good-looking young dudes, or especially women, that don't get sentenced as harshly as other people for similar crimes. But race on its own as an institutional, fucking institutional racism, as if it's in the institution somehow.
Systematic.
Yes, yeah. Eric July. Asian privilege, right? Nobody talks about that.
Well, they had a discussion about that at Evergreen. I guess the people of color committee decided that Asian Americans aren't allowed to participate because they benefit from white supremacist systems. Something like that.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, they're not considered people of color there.
But they're yellow.
So. They're yellow. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for agreeing with me. There she is.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, whatever. It's not, I don't
wait,
like
this was a discussion on your campus?
Well, no, it was here in Washington. Not at my campus, though, but one of the campuses that I help with, yeah.
And has that happened actually at any of your campus at all? Something similar?
No, well, maybe. I don't really pay all that much attention to it since I've, left my school kind of, went crazy. They, implemented free speech zones. They, hired, new directors for diversity. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it happens soon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I've even seen, I think the Washington Post, Huffington Post, I think they've even written about how, black police officers are part of institutional racism and how Asian Americans are part of the patriarchy of white supremacy, which I don't know. I guess that's one way to make the narrative continue going your way is to just make other people white and racist, even though they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was when we were hearing a lot about the alt-right and, Nazis roaming the streets of the United States. People were calling everybody, Milo, the gay Jew,
yes,
who likes black guys. The gay Jew who likes black guys, he was a Nazi. Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, Nazi.
They referred to him as a Jewish Nazi. And it's like that, what?
Yeah.
You can't, just because you don't like what a person is saying,
yeah,
you can't throw an entire ideology onto them.
Yeah.
I can easily say that, anybody out there who's attempting to take our guns away is a Nazi.
Yeah.
I can say that. But I know it's wrong. Just because I don't like what they say doesn't actually make somebody a Nazi.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Although the people trying to take your guns away have a bit more in common with the Nazis than Ben Shapiro and Milo.
Right.
And when we bring that up, they think we're saying Hog's a Nazi. It's like, no.
Yeah.
No, not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Hog wants to take your guns away. So did the Nazis.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying he's a fascist.
Yeah. And another, interesting statistic that people should look up, our listeners and viewers, is how African migrants do in the United States compared to Native African Americans that were born here in the United States. Because African migrants, the blacker black people, first of all, I'm African, so I can say that. Second of all, it's true. The much darker Africans that come from Africa that immigrate here from Kenya, Ethiopia, Sudan, because there's a huge Sudanese community in the Midwest and a bunch of those states. A lot of those Africans make more money than this is on average. There's no way to say that this is every single person. On average, African migrants live better in the United States and make more money than African Americans that were born here, and more so than a good percentage of native-born white Americans as well.
How many of them are Sudanese princes who had a plethora of money, and if you sent them just $500?
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, Sudan's a poor country.
If you send them just $500, they will send you a check for.
Yep. And this goes also into especially if we're gonna talk about Asians. Like Indians who are also dark and could get very easily confused for being Arabic or Muslim, like what happened after 9/11 when their stores were being attacked and all that.
Right.
Indians live better than white people do and black people do on average, and so do Arabs, and of course Jewish people. But then that could be that's why some people have the conspiracy about Jewish people, but that's the focus on Jews. That's the anti-Semitism part. But it's basically it's all about how hard you're willing to work living here. It has nothing to do with your skin tone.
Right.
There's no white privilege. There's no institutionalized racism system in place against black people. There's a lot of problems in the black community. I have a friend. We have a friend, Steve, that hangs out at the Kava bars with us, and I was really interested in his thoughts on this video I watched on PragerU that is something I'd heard before from other black professors and other black authors and stuff like that, talking about problems within the black community, about how single parent households in the African American community are. Let's see, they went from 30% during the civil rights era to 70% today. So more often than not, black families are broken up.
Yes.
Which ends up causing a problem, an economic problem, a social problem, because the same thing actually does apply to, I'm only talking about African Americans because it's on the topic. This applies to white families as well. When you look at white trash families, families with no, with like a single parent, having no parents is going to influence some of these factors. That's going to make somebody poor or not, or work hard or not, or go to school or not, or have a kid before marriage or not,
right?
So on and so forth.
Right. I mean, the 3 rules to be successful.
Yeah, and and Steve agreed, like with what the video was saying, and I wish that more people would see that, especially in the African American community, because I've never shown this video to an African American person that disagreed with it. So obviously there's a problem then, according to what these black professors are saying. But, at the end of the day, they get called like Uncle Toms and stuff for talking about families.
Right, and I mean, that goes back to what we were saying initially with media bias, because the media is pushing one certain narrative. Mm-hmm. And when you show them a different side, and like a lot of people will be like, yeah, that's absolutely correct. But if you say that out loud, the media has been telling people something completely different for decades. Yeah. So the media has shaped that entire conversation, and, then they throw around the insults, calling us Nazis if you disagree with what we think or what we say. Mm-hmm. You call, if a black person doesn't agree with other black people on systems of socioeconomics, it's like, oh, you're just being an Uncle Tom. Mm-hmm. And, it's just the insult that you throw. It's the easy access insult.
Yeah, instead of actually having any kind of rational or logical thought process about what they're saying, you just, ad hominem pretty much. Mm-hmm. But I'm actually really sad that we don't have more discussion on, like, the breakup of families, especially in the last couple generations.
Yes.
Now we're having kids eating Tide Pods.
Right.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got kids eating Tide Pods and snorting condoms.
I do.
Yeah, and I definitely think if they had both parents, that might help a little bit.
Oh, of course, yeah. I even think we should one time have an episode, instead of talking about all of this, all the random topics, like talk about like a topic like this, because
I agree.
Yeah, because I'd be really interested in doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
I definitely don't think it's talked about enough.
Yeah. Let's plan on doing that. Mm-hmm. We'll do it on the air, so people can't say, so people will be like, no, you said you were going to do this. Yeah, so let's, 1, 2, what about 3 weeks from now?
Cool.
You good for 3 weeks from now? Because I want you I always want you on the show. So, like, I would like you to be on that one as well.
Let me look. 3 weeks from now? 1, 2, 3. That'll be the weekend of the 28th. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not good that weekend. I'm going to be in D.C. for my new job training.
Yay. Congrats on the new job, by the way.
But then after that, I should be fine.
Okay, so we'll do one. So that's what?
That's like the first week of next month.
Cool.
Weekend of next month.
All right, so 1 month from today.
All right.
Cool.
I will be reading up on stats and stuff.
Excellent. If you can do my studying for me and just send me all the info so I know what I'm talking about, that'd be great.
Yes.
I'm going to cheat off this smart girl.
Last bullet.
Yeah, we do have to go. I know that you're a little bit over time, but yes, as always, thank you for coming on. You are my favorite. You are my favorite team.
Thanks for coming on, Taylor.
And
I will. Yeah, see you guys in a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully before then, but definitely in a month.
Yep.
But thank you so much as always. So real quick, let's just do all the stuff that we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, people, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Muddied Waters of Freedom, on Instagram at Muddied Waters of Freedom, on Twitter at Muddied_Waters. We now have a MeWe group. Made it today.
Oh, yeah, so check out MeWe. It's an alternative to Facebook that people are trying to get on.
If you add me on MeWe, it's Matt Wright, and it's a picture of the two of us. And I'll add you. I don't care. And then join the Muddied Waters of Freedom group that I put up. It's an open group. And, yeah, once again, thank you, Low Tide.
Thank you very much, Low Tide.
Thank you, Low Tide. Shells up.
Bull up.
And for everybody who is listening to us, the song you're about to hear is Ben Danaher again. So go out and pre-order his album. It is really good. I've heard the entire thing. And Ben's a fantastic, fantastic guy. And he was a wonderful roommate. So,
all right, guys. Remember where we're going.
We don't need roads.